Welcome back. Get ready for a unique business class experience. In this video, we're stepping on board what is currently the only narrow-body plane in Delta's fleet with a lie-flat business class cabin. This is the 757-200, designated by Delta as the 75S. Delta operates more than 100 757s, but has just over a dozen equipped with DeltaOne. What routes can you still find this aircraft? And what makes this DeltaOne cabin unique? But more importantly, is it worth the upgrade? So come join us today as we explore the aircraft, seat, and service on this journey from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. Welcome to Travel at Random. We're Trevor and Ryan. This channel started out of a love of travel. We're here to share unbiased and self-funded trip reports, hotel and flight reviews, and travel advice. We hope we inspire your next getaway. We have dozens of videos, so for even more content, check out the playlist in the description and browse the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. You can also check out our channel memberships here and on Patreon for even more content. Thank you for watching. Now let's head to the airport. Good morning from Los Angeles International Airport, better known by its airport code LAX. Nearly 74 million passengers passed through this airport in 2025, and it's one of the busiest in the world. Today, we're coming off an overnight DeltaOne flight from Honolulu. We have a review of that flight on the channel. We'll link it in the description if you'd like to check out that review. LAX is a Delta hub, and they operate out of Terminals 2 and 3. These terminals recently underwent massive renovations, and today they feel new and modern. LAX is also one of the few airports with a DeltaOne lounge, which is an exclusive business class lounge. We would have loved to show you around this lounge, but our flight from Honolulu was about an hour delayed, and we landed with just enough time to catch our connection. If we had been originating in LA, our DeltaOne ticket would have also given us access to the dedicated check-in experience at LAX. This is located on the lower level and features dedicated security and direct access to the lounge without ever entering the rest of the terminal. We'll definitely have to come back to LA to experience the full DeltaOne ground experience. Let us know in the comments if you've tried out the DeltaOne at LAX experience and what you thought. So where are we headed today? We're flying on Delta's once daily flight between LAX and Washington Reagan National Airport, DCA. Today's flight will take us 2,390 miles with a flight time of just under 5 hours on board a 757-200 in DeltaOne. While Delta operates many domestic routes with wide-body aircraft that feature DeltaOne seats, only a few routes are actually sold and operated as DeltaOne service. The routes are mainly between LAX and the East Coast, like Boston, New York's JFK, and Washington, D.C.'s DCA. You will also find DeltaOne on select routes to Hawaii, and soon between Atlanta and LAX as well. On other routes where you see a DeltaOne seat, those seats are sold as standard domestic first class. We'll talk more about the difference in just a moment. It's time to get on board, and today's flight is departing from Gate 20. DeltaOne boards in Zone 1 right after pre-boarding. One of the advantages of the 757 that we love is that it has an L2 boarding door, which is the door just behind the business class cabin. Unfortunately, due to this gate, boarding is taking place at the front of the aircraft. There are 16 DeltaOne seats arranged in a 2-2 configuration. In economy, there are 44 Comfort Plus seats and 108 standard seats in a 3-3 configuration. We're in the bulkhead, seats 1A and B today. I really like this row on the 757, and I feel like the footwell is a little larger. Each DeltaOne seat on this aircraft is 19 inches wide and converts into a fully lie-flat bed, which is 76 inches long. Due to the configuration, window passengers do not have direct aisle access. We've flown this product many times, and it's great when you're traveling with a companion. If you're alone, you might want to pick an aisle seat. There is a small fixed divider between the two seats, but these are not as private as Delta's newer business class suites. In the center armrest are the seat controls as well as the table. In front, the legroom is good. There's a small ottoman in the footwell that becomes part of the bed. Above that is a shelf where you can store something small in flight. The opposite armrest is adjustable and can be retracted. It does have to be raised for takeoff and landing. Above, there are reading lights and individual air vents. These seats are well padded but worn in. The cabin and seat are fairly old, but they're very comfortable for a 5-hour cross-country flight. Delta is planning on replacing these 757s with new A321neos featuring a new DeltaOne cabin where all seats will have direct aisle access. However, those seats are still awaiting regulatory certification and Delta hasn't provided any updates. Until then, these old 757s will keep flying domestic DeltaOne routes. Fun fact, the planes that make up Delta's 75S fleet were originally delivered to TWA. If you're too young to remember TWA, that tells you how old these planes are. Waiting for us at our seats was a package of Missoni bedding, printed menus for today's flight, an amenity kit, bottle of water, and slippers. Pre-departure beverages of water, orange juice, and sparkling wine were offered. I opted for the sparkling wine. We pushed back from the gate right on time and we taxied for a morning departure to the west. Let's get up in the air and we'll go over the rest of the amenities on board. Each seat features a 13.3-inch Panasonic touchscreen. These IFE screens are bright and responsive, and much better than the screens in DeltaOne on the 767-300. Delta's entertainment system is pretty good, and there's a good selection of movies, TV shows, and music. There's also live TV and a flight tracker. Wi-Fi is available and is free for all SkyMiles members. It worked well on this route. Next to the seatback, there's a universal power outlet and a USB-A charging port. There's also a jack for the headphones. Noise-canceling headphones are provided for use in DeltaOne. These are okay, but I normally prefer to use my own. DeltaOne amenity kits come in a reusable case made by Missoni. Inside you'll find a toothbrush and toothpaste, Grown Alchemist hand lotion and lip balm, a pen, earplugs, eye mask, and socks. So we touched on there being a difference between domestic DeltaOne service and domestic first class on the DeltaOne equipped aircraft. Let's explain what sets DeltaOne apart from standard first class. These business class tickets will give you access to Delta Sky Clubs, as well as DeltaOne lounges. Domestic first class does not come with any lounge access. On board, all DeltaOne seats will convert into a lie-flat bed and bedding is provided. In DeltaOne service, this includes a good-sized pillow and thick duvet. International DeltaOne also includes a mattress topper. First class service includes a standard pillow and blanket on select overnight flights. DeltaOne also comes with elevated onboard service, including meals and drinks available on board. Speaking of food, this is a breakfast flight. Service started shortly after takeoff with hot towels. This was followed by drinks and warm nuts. Having come off a red-eye, it was time for some coffee. Delta lets you pre-order your meal in advance. There are a few selections available on board and a couple of expanded options only available if you pre-order. DeltaOne is typically a 3-course meal with a starter, main, and dessert. On this flight, it all arrived on one tray, which isn't very elevated. I opted for the pancakes served with bacon and maple syrup. This was accompanied by a side of yogurt and fruit and smoked salmon and cream cheese. There was also a cold and somewhat squished blueberry muffin that was incredibly greasy and sweet. Delta has stopped serving warm bread, which is a bit puzzling. The pancakes were actually pretty good and not rubbery, which is what I feared when ordering this dish. Mid-flight, the flight attendant came to the cabin with a standard Delta snack basket. We grabbed some mustard pretzels and vegan gummy bears. These are a couple of our go-to options. Near the tail end of the flight attendant baked chocolate chip cookies and brought those around. This is a highlight on any DeltaOne flight. We spent most of the flight watching movies and catching up on some work. We were soon on our approach into DCA, Enjoy the landing, and we'll be back to share our final thoughts. We touched down on runway 1 right on time and had a quick taxi to our gate. So that's the DeltaOne experience on the 757-200 from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. While these seats are definitely not as private as some of Delta's newer seats, the flight was comfortable and the crew was great. Overall, service on board this flight was good and attentive. The flight attendant working the business class cabin was friendly and was quick to offer drink refills. Delta excels at the soft product with a friendly and responsive crew and decent food. The hard product is inconsistent. Delta has too many aircraft with different DeltaOne seats, but they are working to bring the fleet closer to alignment. These 757s are some of the oldest business class seats in Delta's lineup. We'd love Delta to provide an update, any update, on what's going on with the new A321neos featuring DeltaOne. Between LA and DC, these DeltaOne seats typically go for about 2 to 3 times the cost of normal first class. However, first class requires a connection. Is domestic DeltaOne worth it? That's debatable, and we have chosen the connection route when these fares are excessive. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Both of these are a great way you can help out the channel. We really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. On to the next adventure.